Oh, we got a full house. So it's 10 o'clock. Good morning, everyone. I'm very excited about this webinar. We had such a huge response to this. So I know that people are interested in how to market their business, how to get their name out there. And on behalf of the Greater New York Chamber, that's what we're here to help you do. My name is Helena Nat. I'm the Executive Director with the Greater New York Chamber. And we host these webinars to provide information and to connect you with our database of 30,000 different business and civic leaders. For those who are members, we thank you so much because this is the opportunity that we can put, we're a 501c6, so we can put these webinars on for you. And those who aren't, we would love to be able to connect you with our very many great benefits and getting you in contact with the 30,000 different business and civic leaders every month. So right now we have a full house. There's a lot of great information going on. I am going to turn it over to Daniel from SAIPR. He helps us. He's been a member for a while, and he really helps our members get PR. And he is in contact with a lot of media who are looking for specific information, and he turns around and he goes back to our membership to get them to fulfill the information from the media outlets who are reaching out to him. And so they reach out to him because he has access with me for our database representing all the businesses. So Daniel, I'm going to turn it over to you because I'm really excited about this, and thank you for hosting. Oh, one other thing, just one thing. We have a poll down right below. So if you guys have a chance, take a look at the poll. If you can answer the questions, we greatly appreciate it. And also, there's a chat on the bottom. Put your information in there so Daniel will have a copy of it. And I'll be watching the chat. Daniel will be watching the chat, and we'll have a Q&A at the, around 10:45. So we have 15 minutes for Q&A to answer your questions. Go ahead, Daniel, sorry.
Good morning, everybody. I'm going to share my screen. We have an awful lot of information to go over. I realize that this could probably be broken up into 3 or 4 different I can't share my screen, Elena.
Hold on for 1 second.
One moment, everybody.
You're the host. Wait.
No, it says host disabled.
Hold on. Go ahead.
I'm the host now.
You are the host.
Okay.
You got it?
I believe I do. Can everybody see my screen?
Perfect.
All right, everybody. We are going to do Amp Up Your B2B Marketing. And I'm going to get started right away. There's going to be a lot of information here. Let's see. Okay, hold on. There we go. The goal today is to give you strategies that you can use later today. So I want everybody to, there's going to be a lot of information. Please try and take notes, but I will make the PowerPoint available to everybody as well. First, let's really examine the difference between B2B and B2C marketing. This is important because some of these strategies that you will be employing, it's very helpful for you to understand why you're employing these strategies. First of all, for B2B marketing, customers are focused on a return on investment, efficiency, and expertise. In the B2C market, customers are seeking deals and entertainment. In B2B marketing, customers are driven by logic and financial incentive. On B2C, customers are driven by emotion. On B2B marketing, customers want to be educated. And we're going to talk a lot about this in value-add marketing, which is content marketing, and why it's important. But on B2C marketing, Customers really appreciate education, but they don't need it to make a decision on the purchase. B2B marketing, customers like to work with account managers and salespeople. This is important. On B2C, usually they make purchases directly. B2B, customers often have to confer with team members and a chain of command before making a purchase decision. This is why it's a longer term process. Whereas in B2C, customers rarely need to confer with anybody else. Finally, B2B marketing. Customers make purchases for the long term. This results in longer sales cycles, larger contracts, and longer relationships with the companies. This is critical. Customers on the B2C side, they're not looking for a long-term relationship most of the time, and they're not looking for long-term solutions. Okay, we're going to be discussing, and there's many other aspects of B2B marketing. Maybe we'll do a part 2 on this at some point, but today we're going to be discussing email, digital ads, your website, LinkedIn, word of mouth, and a bunch of bonus ideas. What you're going to see among these elements is that these actions share a lot of common elements. They're all interrelated. So when you do something for your email, it's going to benefit your digital. It's going to benefit your website. It's going to benefit your LinkedIn. And today we're going to learn how to improve the effectiveness of each of these action items. So let's start with email. Many people, until a few years ago, thought email was dead. It's not. It still works. It's still a great way to retain customers and get existing customers to spend more. Just so everybody's aware, roughly 80% of marketers have reported an increase in email engagement over the last 12 months. Email marketing has the highest return on investment for small businesses. Interestingly, Tuesdays seem to be the highest email open rate, but also the highest unsubscribe rate. So you may want to consider sending emails so they arrive Tuesdays, but make sure the content is valuable enough so they don't unsubscribe. And in the US, 21% of email opens happen between 9 a.m. and noon. The strategies to improve your email. The most important aspect here is to build your list. We're going to talk a lot about this as we go through this presentation. But by giving people an opportunity to sign up, that's critical, and you want to have that all over your website, not just in one place. After every blog post, after every section, you should have an opportunity for them to sign up for your email. You want to create offers on your website that require signups. Offers through your digital ads that require signups. These are all great ways to build your list, but also you can purchase B2B lists from brokers. This is very effective when you're doing strategic campaigns. And of course, you can sign up at events, which today is a little more challenging. Now, content matters on email. We're going to talk a little bit about this later, so I'm not going to go into it too much right now, but just remember, when you are drafting emails, if you want to be really successful, try to incorporate 3 elements: to be informative, to inspire, and to entertain. If you can do all 3, you will have a gangbuster email that people will want to circulate. Segmented email campaigns see a almost 15% higher open rates and almost 75% higher click-through rates compared to non-segmented email campaigns. What does that even mean? I'll tell you. Segmented email campaigns mean, let me give you an example. You have a database with all the people that signed up on for your newsletter or that you've been doing business with. And your business has a consumer base that's made up of lawyers and accountants, or lawyers and architects. which happens to be the case for one chamber member. Well, instead of sending one email to everybody, segment the email. Create a special email just for lawyers. Another email just for architects. When you do this, you will see higher click-through rates, you will see higher open rates. The more you can really create this segmentation, which is a form of personalization that is critical. You want people, when they receive your email, to feel like you are speaking to them specifically. Companies that do A/B tests for every email also see much higher open rates and returns. What does that mean? This means, and I'm going to show you some examples very shortly. You should be testing. You take your email list and break it up so that you send a couple different variations of the same email, testing another subject line, testing different calls to actions to see which ones really work better. And that way you will learn a lot and you can start sending everybody that subject line that really got the most open rates, the call to actions that really got the most conversion. These are simple things. Once again, I'm going to show you some examples, so don't worry. And consumers open emails with personalized subject lines at a much higher rate, 50% higher rate compared to emails without personalized subject lines. Yet only 2% of emails employ this personalization. This is a little bit more challenging depending on the software you're using. But if you can say, hey, Dan, this is an important message for you, I'm more likely to open it than if you say, this is an important message for you. Okay. Focus on linking to pages on your website. And this, I can't tell you how many people make this mistake. They send out emails and some are really good content, but there's never a reason to click through to the website. One suggestion that I have is, for example, if you're sharing a blog post and you're sending out an email to everybody about what the blog post is about, just have the first section, the critical section, the section that's the hook in the email, and say, click here to read more, and drive that traffic to your website. Your website is in many ways the most critical element of your marketing strategy. And the same is true with, in your emails, put social media share buttons in the body of the email so people can easily share your email if the content is really relevant to them. We'll talk about that content as well. We had talked a little bit about subject lines, and I just want to give you a few tips on subject lines. You really want to keep them down to 50 characters. Make them short, make them relevant, make them snappy, because subject lines are your first impression for anybody reading that receives your email. It's a glimpse into the email's message and the tone. It's a platform to experiment with personalization, as we discussed, that A/B type testing. It sparks reader curiosity. So you really want to have a subject line that kind of makes somebody say, ooh, what is this about? And your subject line should tell, not sell. For example, people are more likely to open an email with a subject line like 3 ways to improve your marketing today than we can help you with your marketing today. One creates a sense of urgency and interest. The other's like, another sales message. Sorry, I had to take a sip of coffee. Now, the other thing, your emails should contain calls to action. As a matter of fact, this is true in email, social media, digital ads, your website. Every place should have a call to action. And let me give you some real examples where the call to action, slight wording change, generates a huge difference. For example, instead of writing request a quote, request pricing generates 95% increase in conversion. Now, this seems like almost an insignificant change, but when you have the opportunity to A/B test these, you will find that slight wordings like this make a huge difference. Maybe it's friendlier. Maybe it just seems like it's less committal. I don't know, but these things do matter. For example, join the conversation generates a 34% higher conversion rate than submit a comment. Get started now generates a 22% higher conversion rate, while try now only had a 14% conversion rate. These little things really go a long way. So you want to try to really test your call to actions, and you should have call to actions everywhere. Landing pages. These are important. These are probably the biggest mistake I see in email campaigns is people send out an email that is really punchy on one subject, and then they drive traffic to their homepage. Well, the person gets all excited that they open this email on this one topic, specific topic, then they go to a generic homepage that really kind of takes them away from the fire they had when they were reading your email. And remember this, conversion doesn't take place in the email. It actually takes place in your website. So I'm showing an example here, just so you can see the similarities. The email is on the left-hand side. The landing page, which is really targeting the topic of that email, is on the right-hand side. And once they click through, they read the email, they get excited about it, they click through, there they are on a page that gives them a little bit more information about the topic. And right on the top, you'll see, now this happens to be toward restaurants, and when Grubhub was taking all their profits, this was a solution to that situation. And the minute they clicked onto the website, there was, I'm fed up with giving Grubhub my profits, contact me for no obligation consultation. So you see that the email and the landing page work together. This is why it's called a campaign. They work in concert. Okay, next action item, and I apologize if I'm going a little fast. We just really have a lot to cover, but I'm looking forward to the questions on the back end. Digital ads. The fact is that online advertising today is larger than TV, and the gap is growing. And now you can target B2B with the power of television, the precision of direct mail, with the interactivity of the internet. This is a huge opportunity that did not exist in B2B marketing only a decade ago. As you can see on these two graphics, people are spending much more time on their online media than all other media combined. So if you're not online doing advertising, that is a problem. Digital ads can today target the right prospects, as I mentioned before, just like in direct mail as they had. You can make sure that only people that you want to see your ad will see it. If you're a lawyer, you don't need to have a 16-year-old or a 14-year-old watching your ad. You can make sure that doesn't happen. The other benefit of digital ads is you see the results instantaneously. You get a full report. You see who opens it, who clicks through. If you're running multiple ads, which I recommend, you can see which ones work better than the others. And if you want to increase your return on advertising investment, the ones that are performing poorly, get rid of them. And this is all stuff within the first week. You will see the results. You will see who's clicking through. You'll see what messages are working best. And you can tweak your digital ads as you go along. This is why digital has such a good return on investment as well. And whether you're using digital or not, your competitors are. Keep that in mind. Digital ads include Facebook ads, Google ads, LinkedIn, and all other forms of social media platforms. One of the big powerhouses on digital right now, and we use this a lot, are banner and pre-roll ads. They now can compete with television to move polling numbers. Before this, that was only the purview of television. I knew that if I invested X dollars in television, I would get a bump in opinion polls of Y. And one of the benefits of the pre-roll and banner ads is it follows the target around. So whatever target you choose, if it's lawyers, if it's architects, if it's whatever it is, you follow them no matter where they go. If they don't get on Facebook, you still follow them. You'll follow them onto the New York Post site, the New York Times site. You'll follow them onto fantasy football sites, wherever they go online. So these are benefits. So let's talk about how to improve. Once again, I mentioned that we can really narrowly target with digital ads. I'm going to give you an example of a 15-second ad that was done for an insurance client. And the insurance client had programs that were for healthcare, for contractors, for restaurants. But what we did is we narrowly focused, and I hope that you're going to be able to hear this. I think I set it up correctly, but this was narrowly targeting contractors. 15-second ad. Oh, hold on here. What did I do?
Contractors. Buy workers' comp direct from Freedom Tower Insurance. Save on coverage, improve your safety record, avoid the state fund. Get a quote and buy direct today. Click on this ad or visit freedomtowerinsurance.com.
Now, once again, the interactivity here. Can't do this on television, can't do this on radio, you can't do this in print. You're interested in the ad, you click right on it and you go to where you want, where the advertiser wants them to go. Now remember, B2B marketing involves long-term relationships, and these people, your clients, like to be educated because they're really interested in efficiency, return on investment. So we want to offer value add content. This is true in your emails, on your blogs, on all. As I mentioned, you're going to see a lot of similarities. The reason these are campaigns is because when you do one thing for your email, it benefits your digital, it benefits your blog, it benefits LinkedIn, it benefits all the other aspects of your marketing. Say you are targeting the C-suite. So your customers are primarily in the C-suite. Well, what we've seen in research is that C-suite loves to download papers, white papers, and research papers. So offer value-add content in your advertising and on your website for people to download these types of papers, the C-suite, to download their white papers and your research papers. But if you're targeting managers and the smaller entrepreneurs, they love how-to papers, how to market, how to invest. These are how to help your employees grow and be better salespeople. These types of papers are really good opportunities for people to sign up on and join your email address and to give you their email addresses. And once again, these papers, these value-add content also help position you as an expert in the minds of potential customers. I would also say digital gives you an opportunity to really find creative ways to target the groups that you're looking to target. And I'll give you an example. Lawyers and architects, what we wanted to do is target this group. And we realized that in New York State, both these groups have to get state licenses, which means we could download the information, who they are, where they are. And we were then able to IP append so that we could track them and follow them on their cell phones, on their tablets, on their laptops. And today that's a really important aspect of marketing because as we all know during this COVID-19 experience, to put it nicely, people are spending a lot of time, even professionals, doing research on their phones. So this was a really neat way that digital allowed us to target this group. More strategies here for digital, and then I think this is the last one. Your ads should work like subject lines or call to actions. Just like a button, the ads matter. And just like email, build custom landing pages for each ad. So if you're running an ad on something, make sure that the landing page where when people click on that ad, it lands on a page that represents what that ad was. Don't send them to your generic homepage. Number one way to just have people bounce off your website. And test numerous ads. Eliminate the least performing ones. As I mentioned, during when the lockdown first started, we actually helped out a restaurant on the Upper West Side. And there's just 3 banner ads here. Can you guess which one worked the best? Yes, during coronavirus times, we deliver wine. But I'll give you another example. We had a client that ran 6 ads in Virginia, and they just couldn't decide as to what they wanted to say. Well, in the first 2 weeks, as we were looking at the reports, one ad outperformed all the others combined. We got rid of 5 ads, ran one, and the return on investment for that advertising campaign, it just skyrocketed. Your website. This is a critical element in your marketing, probably the most important. It's the first place potential customers will go. They want to find out about you. They're going to go online. And it's your number one conversion tool. Remember, your emails aren't converting people. They're just directing you to your website. Your digital ads aren't converting people. LinkedIn is not going to convert people. You need to make sure that that website is designed to convert. We're going to talk about that as well. Small businesses with blogs on their websites get 126 more lead growth than small businesses without. And a whopping 77% of internet users read blogs today. You probably don't even realize when you're reading somebody's blog, but you are. And content marketing rakes in conversion rates 6 times higher than other methods. And remember, this is all that content marketing. You want all that on your website. That's owned media. You want people to have to go to your website because it gives you an opportunity to convert them. Strategies here, just like your subject line and call to actions, headings matter on your website. And here's a very good example of a headline and copy change that increased conversions by 321% just by creating a sense of urgency. Now, the one on the left was the original one, and it wasn't that visually stimulating, but the headline was respectable. Drive more traffic to your blog. Okay, if I'm a blogger and I want to drive more traffic there, that's interesting. But the redesign that says, get more readers as earlier as tomorrow, that created a sense of urgency. That also piqued my interest far more than drive more traffic to your blog. And this is why you want to continually test headlines. I would test these 2 headlines in an email. When I saw the difference, I would change my heading on my website as well. Okay. Another example of where a headline on a website really made a difference, Reverend Jen's original headline to get people to sign up on their email address was outdress the other guys. a very simple change. Don't let other guys outdress you. Increase newsletter signups by 17%. And it just created a sense of urgency. Once again, small tweaks like this. These are things, by the way, I expect everybody to do this afternoon. As I mentioned earlier, and I'm sorry to repeat myself so often, all these elements support one another. And you want to give people reasons to sign up for you and give you their email addresses. So your website should have offers for a newsletter, should have downloads for white papers, for how-to guides, or for 3 reasons why to market, 3 reasons why to train employees, whatever it is, but something that matters, that's a value add to that client group that you are trying to attract. Another element that really helps increase signups to a website is the way you ask for it. And when asking for information in an email opt-in form, ask for as little information as possible. Research has shown that using 1 additional form field can decrease conversions by 11%. So that's why today you often see what I have on the screen here, that just give us your email address. We'll figure out the rest later on. Once again, while we're on the topic of the website, build those custom landing pages for each email and for each ad campaign. Also, for every post that you put onto LinkedIn, onto Facebook, wherever you're posting, whichever social media you prefer, it's always great. And your blog will already help you do that. And at the end of each blog, by the way, I would have a sign up for our newsletter. Finally, on the website, if you can, add a chat bot to your site. 92% of customers say they're satisfied with the live chat experience, a higher proportion than any other communications channel, and visitors who use a web chat are 2.8 times more likely to convert than those who don't. And what a chatbot really does is it makes people feel like they're engaged immediately with your company, with your product, with your brand. They have that experience like these people are immediately responding to me. It works. It's a great tool. Okay, I just want to see where we are on time here. Okay. LinkedIn. 50% of B2B buyers use LinkedIn as a source for making purchasing decisions. 91% of executives say LinkedIn is their first choice for finding professionally relevant content. Now, remember this. So if you're looking at executives, really build that value add content to post onto LinkedIn, to post on these sites. So how can we improve our LinkedIn activities? Post content that is value added to your target customer. But don't post, I see too many people doing this. They read an article and say, oh, my clients will like this. And they'll post the link to that article. That's not a good idea. You really want to drive traffic to your website. Use your blog to house posts so you drive traffic to your site. Instead of posting that article that you read in the Wall Street Journal, why not instead write a synopsis of the article, add your opinions to it or why you think it was valuable or what you found wrong with it, and include a link to the original story at the bottom of your blog post. Then post your blog story to LinkedIn. This way you give your potential clients the benefit of that story. You're the one that brings it to them, but it drives them to your website. And at the end of the day, once again, it offers you as an expert in that topic. And once again, on LinkedIn, offer those white papers, those value add pieces. And that's true, by the way, on Facebook or whatever social platform you use. In B2B, LinkedIn does kind of dominate. So that's why I chose that as an example. Okay, let's talk about some other bonus ideas that I kind of threw these together at the end because I realized that this topic really does warrant a longer, maybe multi-series webinar where we can go into these aspects a little bit deeper. But here are your bonus ideas. Add images and video content. Studies show visual recall is much stronger than audio or text. When people hear information, they remember 10% of it 3 days later. But add pictures, and they remember 65% of it 3 days later. And that's why you see so many infographics and memes, even in business, that work so effectively. Another one, since business owners and departments head are now using mobile devices to research their business solutions, make sure your website is accessible on all devices, including cell phones, from the biggest screens down to the smallest gadgets. Thankfully, most WordPress templates already do this, but make sure that your website presents well on mobile phones. They're being used more and more, even by professionals. Now, we're going to talk about content again here, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but up to 70% of B2B content goes unused. So don't just focus on, I got to get content out. I got to get content out. I have to be relevant. I have to stay ahead of people. Make sure your content is really valuable to the people that matter. In the long run, I am going to be less likely to unsubscribe if you only send me an email or post something every 2 weeks. But every 2 weeks, I can count on it being really relevant. Because if you just bombard me with stuff just to stay in front of me, I will be annoyed. It turns into background noise. I may unsubscribe, but I'm not going to be that motivated when I see an email come in from you that matters, that to read it. And it's important to keep this in mind because the average buyer views 5 or more pieces from a winning vendor before deciding to purchase. So while we're talking a lot about making sure you have content, keeping in front of people, making sure you look like an expert, make sure that your content is really useful, that it matters, and it's not just, oh, here's another article I read. Oh, here's another article I read. I already gave you my viewpoint on that. I would rather you take those articles, turn it into a blog on your website so it's content you own and it drives people to your site. Video is now the most common format in content marketing, overtaking blogs and infographics. Promotional videos and brand storytelling are the most common video types. 87% of video marketers say that video has increased their traffic to their website. 80% of video marketers claim it directly increased sales. I showed you the video that we did targeting contractors. It actually got a lot of click-throughs. It matters. Video does work. I can actually say that. We actually created for another client a reality-based construction show that's kind of like a reality show, but focused on construction around New York City. The subscriptions to that have gone through the ceiling. It's hugely popular among this client's demographic. So video is of interest, it works, it's engaging, and in the world of the internet, it's interactive. So I can click through, I can click on a video, go right to where I want to go. Finally, and this is very important, it's something that we use a lot, word of mouth. Research shows that the high impact recommendation from a trusted friend is up to 50 times more likely to trigger a purchase than a low impact recommendation. And to do word of mouth, don't wait for it to happen organically. You need a plan. Put a plan, whether it's rewarding, referring customers, or providing an email template that makes it easy for them to recommend you. You know, put a plan together that helps happy clients, when they're happy, refer you to their friends. And I'll give you an example. I can't claim credit for this, but I thought it was a great example. Riff Raff is a company in Australia that went from simple home business to a multi-million-dollar business by word of mum, which is mom. What they do is they sell stuffed toys that help children sleep. I guess they have a little sound machine in them or something. But you'll see what they do. Once a customer buys this, they get an email offering free postage to friends that purchase it. And if they get 5 friends to buy one of these, they'll get a second sleep toy free. And they even include one for wash days, one for childcare, you know, one is a gift. So try a word of mouth campaign. These work. I can tell you that just from experience on our side. Finally, I want to share a McKinsey study with you that kind of shows why doing multiple of these elements is important. When they say marketing campaign, it's because it is a campaign. It includes email, social, digital, word of mouth. They all work in concert. Think of it like an orchestra. They're all playing together. You're going to have a beautiful symphony. McKinsey's study showed that in the first stage, where people are just considering what to do, advertising is very important, plays a big part of who they're going to look towards, as does word of mouth. In the evaluation phase, internet presence is key, as is word of mouth. And once they have made that decision, once they've evaluated, they looked, they considered, they've evaluated, when it's time to purchase, your website, your digital game is critical because it confirms that decision. I hope this helped. I know I threw a lot at you very quickly, which I do apologize for. Next time we'll break this up a little bit and go into a little bit more detail. But I did really wanted to present you with enough information that you can take some of these action items and employ them today. So I guess happy marketing, and I'd be glad to take any questions. Let me stop sharing the screen.
Yeah, Daniel, can you make me host? Because yes. I don't think that they can do the poll because I created the poll.
Yes, I have to remember how to do that. How do I do that?
Just go into where your name is under panelist and then right click it. And in the meanwhile, let's, anyone have any questions in the chat? Let me go through. If anyone can ask some questions in the chat, we will. You can ask questions. No questions yet. Put it in the chat.
Oh, I can launch the poll. I can't.
Yeah, launch the poll then on your end.
Okay.
Because it's all set up.
Yep, I did it.
Someone asked, where did you get the stats email verbiage?
I believe that came from research done by HubSpot. HubSpot does a lot of, they provide email campaigns, and they actually are a good resource for this type of information.
Another question is, which you had recommended that some people go to a B2B type of to purchase emails or sales leads.
Yes.
Which one do you recommend, and which is accurate?
There's a number of really good ones. You know, I've used exact data quite frequently. And often they will give you the email addresses, their home address, not their home address, their business address, their email address, a phone number, so you can actually do follow-ups. Depending on what you're doing, I highly do recommend doing that, because you can buy very targeted email or business-to-business lists, and you can create specific campaigns designed to that list. So, I do recommend. I'm also glad to talk. I mean, please visit my website, saipr.com. You can contact me at any time if you have more questions. But I use exact data. I do recommend doing that depending on your needs. It does help boost your list. The only thing I will say is when you purchase a list, you have to be careful how you send to that list, because there are spam rules, and if you're buying a list of 100,000, you're easily going to trip those spam rules. And
just be careful on that, unless you'll get shut down for stuff like that. So you got to be careful. Question. Let me see. We will be sending a copy of this webinar. Daniel will send it to me, and then I will send it out. Please post your website.
I may force you to come to my website and download it. Kind of give you a little bit of the taste of what we've been talking about.
Okay, so there you go. I will send you the link. Someone asked, you spoke about chatbots. With a limited staff, are there outside companies that provide this service 24/7, and what does a basic partnership with them typically run?
Okay, it really depends on the service you use. The chatbots are they're artificial intelligence, so you don't even need somebody. Nobody's going to be sitting there. A human is not going to be sitting there. You don't need to hire a human. Basically, there's services out there that you go through a list of questions, you answer them, and what will happen is when somebody types in a question and it falls into that purview of what you anticipate people asking, it will generate a question. Once the chatbot is exhausted, it will say, hey, let me have somebody get back to you and help you with this. And they can either they'll grab the person's email address so you can get back to them, but it's not a daunting process. There are a number of services out there that do this. HubSpot is one of them, but they're not the only one. And there are actually cheaper alternatives out there as well. I would just Google chatbots and you'll get a full list of potential chat companies that could do this for you.
Okay. Any suggestion to apply this to the what? Someone wants to know, do you use HubSpot? Any suggestions to apply this to a Latino market or ethnic group?
Oh my God.
Two different questions, sorry.
I'm going to start with the Hispanic Latino group first. Are you looking to digitally advertise to this Latino group? Because that is very, very doable. You can hit people who have Hispanic surnames. You can track people by numerous ways that you can track people. Follow them around online. And once again, digital advertising is surprisingly affordable, especially if you keep it within certain geographic boundaries. So it's very easy to target Latinos. There are also ways to do this on email, although that's a little bit more complicated. But digitally, it's a home run, and we've done it.
Also, as a sole proprietor, how do you test ads?
How do you test ads? Well, we did this with the restaurant just when the shutdown happened, and they could only do deliveries. We created 3 different ads based on what they were trying to accomplish. And very quickly, we determined which ads were generating the most. And when I mean very quickly, I'm talking within days, because you start running the ads, you get reports every day as to how the ads are doing, how many people are clicking, how many people are viewing, and you can quickly determine which of these ads is hitting that funny bone with your consumer base, which ones are resonating, and that way you can get rid of the ones that don't work, as I mentioned, and really get a better return on your investment. That's why some of these forms of advertising, email and digital, are so effective. They really raise your return on investment because you can track it, you can make last minute alterations on the fly, and it really works.
The polling is working, so if you guys can take a look at the poll. Do you recommend Cleverly for LinkedIn? Cleverly.
Okay, I'm not an expert on Cleverly, so I'm going to pass on that one. Sorry.
Okay. I think there was one else. How do you feel speaking engagements have been working for you to grow your business over other traction channels?
They do. They work, of course. They're a little bit more effort, but it's a good way to stay relevant, to stay in front of people, and also, they're very important to build your perception as an expert. And this is one of the other things. Helena had mentioned this early on. One of the reasons that we do help a lot of chamber members get PR is because when you are placed, when a reporter places you in a story, you by default come across as an expert. And we've done this for numerous chamber members. Just this week, we landed another one for somebody, I believe it was for cybersecurity, I don't remember. But, anything that helps you kind of occupy that real estate of expertise in people's minds is beneficial. But that's the same thing that your downloads, that your white papers and your how-to papers accomplish.
What is the number of emails you can send without hitting spam? I think that's based on the source that you're using.
Well, and the provider. So,
yeah.
I know that I can do 250 a day before I hit spam.
Right. It depends on if,
email.
Yeah, if you guys use like Constant Contacts, they have a certain limit that they let you know. It depends on the Verizon is very, like a Verizon or a Gmail is very low. And if they track you, they'll shut your email down. So just be very careful.
But let me say this. For $300, let's say you purchase a list of 100,000. It's worth investing $300 to have a third party send it out on your behalf who meets all the requirements to do that kind of, I don't want to say spamming because technically they're not supposed to be spamming either, but there are services that do this, and they also track it. They show you how many people opened, how many people clicked through, and you'll also see this on your website analytics. So that's another way to measure it. But if you're talking really, really high numbers, it's worth investing that extra $300 or whatever it is. If somebody's interested in doing this, I do have some vendors that I can direct you to.
Got it. Sounds like you need a third party to run. Okay. Constant Contacts and MailChimp are good email campaign platforms. Yes.
Yes.
The poll, I'll figure out the poll. It is running, but I think there's a problem with one of the questions. I'll find that out.
Hold on.
It is running though. That was very good. I think we answered most of, is the number of emails, all these. Are all of these tips relevant for all industries, such as legal industry, for example? I would say yes.
Yes. Oh my God. Oh yeah. Your content is what's going to drive the difference. So, if you're, and even within the field, the legal field, your content's going to change depending if you are a lawyer that helps people who got disabled on the job or who are injured on the job, versus you're an attorney that helps in real estate. Yes, the answer is yes, but your content is what's going to differentiate you.
Got it. Any other questions? This was a great presentation. Great presentation.
I just hope people, I know I went quickly, but many of the things I did discuss are things you guys can immediately employ, and I hope you do. I'd love to hear the feedback. Yes, my email is daniel@saipr.com. I'd love to hear from everybody, especially, when you're trying these elements out and, you have questions or you just have some feedback. I'd love to hear it.
Okay, Christina, can you just readdress the two questions that we didn't answer? If you can just retype them, I'm trying to find it. Hold on, I joined late. So you're saying that email, newsletter, and blog should be sent at max twice a month?
No, what I said is your content matters. Don't feel pressure to always be sending something if you don't have something to say. Because if I'm a potential client and you're jamming up my email box just to stay in front of me with content that does not always matter to me, eventually I'm going to get annoyed and unsubscribe. What I said is it's better to send really, really good content just twice a month rather than send something twice a week that doesn't really matter to me. I will be more happy to get your emails if it's something I can always count on being good, being relevant, and being helpful, than if it's, hey, I just read this article, you should read this too.
Also for LinkedIn, to clarify, it's not wise to only post or repost an article. You should add your 2 cents, so to speak.
Let me use an example. I read an article in the New York Times and I said, oh, this is kind of interesting to the people that I want to communicate with. Instead of posting that New York Times link and writing a post, hey, you should read this is interesting. Why not read the article, write a blog post on your website about it, and on your blog post, you can put a link to the New York Times article, and then post your blog to LinkedIn. This way, when people who are interested in it, they click to your website, you get them in your ecosystem, and you also look like more of an expert because you're commenting on this. Remember, your website is a conversion tool. New York Times isn't going to convert a client for you.
Got it. Great feedback, Daniel. Everyone's sitting there saying that they loved it. We are actually right on schedule for 11 o'clock. So, but I just wanted to say thank you so much, Daniel. Daniel will get a list of all the attendees. I'm sure that based on this presentation, he is going to be following up on that. For those that aren't members, we really appreciate you becoming a member. One of the things that Daniel does on behalf of the Greater New York Chamber, he is our go-to for PR and getting our, as a member, PR for your company if he has the opportunity to do that. So if you become a member of the Chamber, these are one of many, many benefits that you do get. Being a member of the Chamber, as well as being listed on our website, getting to attend, webinars or speed networking. You get the Chamber logo on your signature for your email, which a lot of people have been saying has been a huge, huge asset going forward during COVID, because a lot of people are, looking at emails and the email marketing on that.
I actually think if somebody tattoos the logo on their arm, they should get free membership for life.
Membership for life.
Yeah, exactly.
But like I said, thank you very much for everyone attending. And if you have any questions, just contact me, Helena at chamber.nyc. Daniel will be getting in contact with you. And I want just to say to everyone, be safe, be healthy, and please wear a mask. We want to keep New York strong and get us back to, you know, I love these Zooms, but we want to be able to get people back to seeing people in person.
Great. Helena, thank you as always. Everybody, it was really a pleasure to do this, and I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you,
Great.
everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, Daniel. Bye, everyone. Thank you. Daniel, I'll make a copy of the chat for you.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.